So we've talked about compound sentences. And remember, a compound sentence, subject, you have a subject and a verb. You throw in a comma, one of the fanboys, and then a second subject and a second verb. So we have this action and this subject is doing this action. We have this action and this subject is doing this action. Now, the focus of this video, this short video, is on coordinating conjunctions and subordinating conjunctions. It's important to know the difference between the two. And independent clauses, when they get together, make a complex sentence. And where you put the comma in that complex sentence is really important. So this is just briefly on subordinating and coordinating conjunctions. So coordinating means you're putting together two like items. Cats and dogs slept and ate. Peanut butter and jelly. I went to the store and got lots of food. I went outside and went for a walk. Where you're combining two somewhat balanced or equal types of things. So we all know our coordinating conjunctions are what we affectionately call the fanboys. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. And we use those in compound sentences. Now, subordinating conjunctions are a little bit more complicated. Subordinating conjunctions are those words that we add to the beginning of a dependent clause. So they are words, I'll give you an example. I'll give you some examples of the most common ones that we encounter. Because, since, although, though would be one. You can do it. Actually, I'll make this an assignment as part of this essay or part of this video to look up some more subordinating conjunctions. But these words will introduce a dependent clause. So let me show you how to build a dependent clause. In the last video, I showed you how to build a main or independent clause. And do you remember what we do for that? We have a subject, and we have a verb, and we have a complete thought. You combine those, and you get a sentence, or we can also call it a main, the main clause, or the independent clause. So that's how you would build an independent clause. You can add adjectives, adverbs, prepositional phrases, etc. But if I want to build a dependent clause, keep in mind these items. I'm going to erase it, but keep those in mind. An independent or a dependent clause has a subordinating conjunction. It has a subject, and it has a verb. You clever ones will notice that it doesn't have a complete thought. The complete thought status is done away with. It forfeits its complete thought status when you add the subordinating conjunction. So let me give you some examples. Let me, it's a little too small. I love, what do I love? I love teaching. I love teaching. There we go. We have a verb. We have a subject. Now, you might say, wait a minute, Mrs. Pritchard, teaching is another verb. In this sentence, teaching with the ing is a participle, and it's doing the job of a noun. But we're not going to talk about that right now. So, I love teaching. Nice sentence. Could go anywhere. Cross-stitch it, put it on a wall, frame it. But now I'm going to add a subordinating conjunction. Because I love teaching. Now you're all sitting there saying, okay, Mrs. Pritchard, finish the sentence. Because I love teaching, there's no complete thought. You add the subordinating conjunction, and now it's no longer a complete thought. My family plays games. So there we have a nice sentence. I'm looking at that. That's a sentence. That's a complete thought. It satisfies the qualifications of a sentence as a subject and a verb and a complete thought. But what if I change it? Although my family plays games. What? You're sitting there thinking, come on, finish the sentence. This is a dependent clause. It has a subject and a verb. That's what makes it a clause, but it has this subordinating conjunction at the beginning. So subordinating conjunctions come at the beginning of the dependent clause. Because it has a subordinating conjunction, it has lost its complete sentence status. This before, just my family plays games, complete sentence. It loses a complete sentence status and now becomes a dependent clause. It's no longer independent. Without the word although, that could have been independent. My family plays games. That could have stood on its own. But when I add although, a subordinating conjunction, it can no longer stand on its own because it no longer is a complete thought. So this short lesson was on coordinating conjunctions and subordinating conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions can be used to combine two independent clauses to make a compound sentence. Subordinating conjunctions introduce